So hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel IPeace. How are you doing, guys? How are you doing? It's been a minute, and today I'm in Kajiado County. Kajiado County is in Kenya, but it's bordering Nairobi County. So today I'm going to bring you one or two stories of young people who are doing a lot of work in transforming the community, but also just leading to this particular individual. I'm sure you're all going to be excited. You're going to be inspired by the stories that she will be sharing with you, and yeah, I'm really excited and looking forward. So I can't wait. So see you. Also, just to mention that, guys, I really appreciate your interactions with this particular content I'm creating. I hope you're enjoying it. I hope you feel inspired every time you watch every single story that is shared here. So keep commenting on the comment section, keep on sharing the videos, but also keep on inviting your friends to join in this particular family of young people who are building peace from all walks of life. Today to be hosting a very powerful individual.
Thank you.
Yeah, she is powerful, and a lot of you, I know you'll agree with that statement, because she's done a lot to shape the country into what it is today.
Wow.
It's very true. So I'll not say much, but let her really introduce herself.
Thank you, Grace. Happy to be here. So my name is Nerima. I work for an organization called Siasa Place, but I'm a mother. I have a son. I'm a third born in a family of 4. So I'm very family oriented.
Sure.
And I enjoy stories. I write. Although now I'm not writing as much, and I also enjoy Nigerian movies.
You do watch Nigerian movies?
I love them.
Of course, we have Nigerians also kind of watches my stories. So.
Oh, cool. Oh.
I know, right? So we do love, of course, I also love Nigerian movies. Those African, they bring out the African context of how things are done here. Nice to meet you, and nice to hear that you're also family oriented. And as a young woman, maybe just to get to know, what exactly do you do at Siasa Place?
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm the executive director. My main job is to do the strategic, direction of the organization.
Right.
But I'm the founder, and the organization has been in existence for about 8 years now.
Wow.
But we mainly do youth inclusion in political processes, governance.
Right.
So I advocate for a lot of youth representation in government, and also looking at policies and how they protect young people in our country. So work a lot with county governments, with the executive arm as well, and also doing a lot of petitions and looking at accountability to make sure that corruption reduces, because it normally is the youth who lose out on opportunities because of corruption.
Absolutely. Interesting, and a lot of, those are very, can I say, interesting spaces to be in. And especially in the policy space, you do a lot of petitioning, you said.
Yes.
And also the issue of Kenya, of course, I don't know if you read it, Kenya's been ranked as one of the most corrupt.
Number 31.
Number 31, and that's so scary, right? As a young woman, especially, how do you, maneuver through all this, considering that, again, women have been, labeled to be weak, women have been marginalized at some point. How, as a young woman, because 8 years is such a long time, and I know it's more than, you didn't just start from somewhere. I mean, you didn't just start, you started from somewhere. How was your journey as a person?
It's been hard. Oh my gosh, because you talk about two things, young and being a woman.
Awesome.
And so in the beginning, when I was in my very early 20s, I was actually doing an internship. And I was working in an organization abroad. I had finished school in the US. And I wanted to start this thing. I had this idea, but no one was really understanding what I'm trying to do.
You are young, you're a woman.
Yeah.
What is it? What?
And even your parents are like, why don't you just get a job? It's easier than you going and starting something and then you don't have the resources to do it. How are you gonna get those resources? So I would say that it's a very slow start.
Sure.
In fact, when I'm telling young people who are starting initiatives, give yourself 3 years. Be kind to yourself. You're not going to see it like, wow, in, you know,
Alright,
1 year,
it's true.
6 months. And be gentle on yourself, because I found myself now doing this internship when I came back to Kenya, working part-time as a consultant in an organization, and then trying to build Siasa Place also. So sometimes you find yourself, you're in the office at 7 a.m., you leave the office at 3 p.m., then you go to town so that you can meet other young people and brainstorm. So by the time you're leaving town, it's almost 10 p.m., 11 p.m. And so you find yourself constantly building this thing. And even in the first few years, on Saturday, I didn't have a Saturday. It was a working day for me.
Okay.
Yeah, so Saturday, I used to fully and truly just focus on Siasa Place.
Right.
And we used to meet at a coffee shop on Loita. And so that's how, you know, it sort of
Still, it
grew.
wasn't. There was nothing like establishment of an office, like a
Nothing.
structure. So you'd meet
I got an office 3 years later,
Okay.
you know, so that's when things started to pick up. So I was working in other people's offices or in coffee shops because of the free Wi-Fi. And then you're not really ordering anything because it becomes expensive. So you're having water or coffee until even the waiters know this chick is just here for the Wi-Fi. So, you know, you sit near a
And
place
when you
you can
frequent such
charge.
places, they definitely, this one, she doesn't have the money to buy the food, Nini. You go there for the Wi-Fi and the space. It's spacious, and with like the furnitures, makes you comfortable to work and stuff. I can relate.
Exactly. But I think the hardest challenge about being a woman is people taking you seriously. So I've had to find myself proving myself a lot more. So over-reading, over-studying.
Going extra every other time.
Oh my gosh. Going extra, and then you're going extra against people who don't even have a clue about the issue, but they have this bravado and confidence that they know it all, and you find yourself trying to inform them of the realities, and they don't take your advice as serious.
Because you're young,
So building that rapport was what was difficult, and also people taking advantage. So not necessarily seeing you as someone who can do anything. So building that reputation, the finances is also a challenge because you don't have it. But it's to remain strong in who you are and what you believe in, because I'm still the kind of leader where I don't like walking into a room and everyone is like, oh, that's the boss,
That's the
you know?
boss. Okay.
So I enjoy leadership where even in my own team, from the manager to the intern, they're able to share ideas with me.
and they're easily approachable.
Yes.
They're able to share with you.
Yes.
And give their opinions as well.
Absolutely. And I think that's so important for growth. I think it's different, especially in African culture, because we like to have the hierarchy.
Boss.
Yeah, people like to be the boss.
Boss culture.
I can't even sit in the same office, you know, not the same thing.
You have to follow the structure. If you have to communicate, then go through
my
and
PA, you know?
Come on.
Yeah,
I know.
so I found that a little bit strange, and it's helped me because I've had some of the most fantastic ideas coming from an intern. And you know, that's because I chose to listen. And so even some things that I say, I'll have the manager saying, no, I don't agree with that. I don't think that's a good idea, because you're also able to see your faults. So you're not perfect.
Right.
And that has been a massive learning lesson for me.
Absolutely. Those are very key insights. And also just focusing on politics and the fact that, again, you do a lot of political education to young people, because a lot of young people, they don't even understand. Then for them, electoral process includes just voting, but it's more than just that. And now, especially now that we're headed towards election, what are your takes? What are some of the insights you share with young people in terms of what to look out for, and just to be aware that voting or other elections is not the end of everything. It's the start of everything. But then doing it in a more peaceful way, in a more non-violent way, because in Kenya we have that cycle of violence. How do we get away from that?
The youth have to know what it is that they want, and unfortunately, we have political leaders who take advantage of that ignorance. And what I'm seeing right now is so many youth have already sold their votes, transferred, and that means they might not be able to vote on voting day.
Right.
And that means they've just completely thrown away that right, which, you know, our ancestors really fought hard to get. And even if the youth were asking the right questions, then they would be able to receive the right answers. Yeah? So you'd be able to know this person doesn't understand what they're doing. So you wouldn't waste time
focusing
with them.
on things that don't matter.
You wouldn't. And so you'd be able to have the right people in governance, and those right people will be able to put your priorities on the table. So for me, it's about telling youth, like you said, it's not just voting. There's the public participation process, budget cycles. A lot of money is spent in our communities. And our leaders actually have to sit down with the community and decide where this money goes.
Right.
And the youth are nowhere near those meetings. And that's where it counts. And so we find them getting used for a few shillings for one day, when they can be part of this meeting that will save them millions of shillings for later. You know, so we need to start looking at people who are bringing opportunities. And not short-term resolutions. So peace, unfortunately, women bear the brunt of war.
Absolutely.
So they're the ones who end up picking communities because young men have gone to war fighting. Children are affected, and it's the mother who will take care of those children. Yeah, because they're the ones who are left behind. Yeah. And so we have to realize just the burden that we leave behind when youth decide that they're going to involve in violence. And the same person who's sending you to that violence is nowhere near that violence. Their children will finish school, go to a university, and get a fantastic job because of connections. And you will be stuck in a community where your house was burnt down. You have no way of working and living for yourself, and you're in this hole where you find yourself depressed, and there's a rise in mental illness as well.
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot. And maybe just to break it down a little bit for the people who are probably are new and do not necessarily, like you said, there are a lot of people who do not even understand these processes, because again, it starts from understanding, then you gain the interest to even participate, and going forward, you maintain that. What is the difference? What is the connection between politics and peace? Because I know, politics is everywhere. But then how does that shape our peace in Africa, in Kenya? Yeah.
I like that question. So politics affects us every single day.
Absolutely.
And politics is basically the decisions that representatives make within parliament. So they decide who gets what and where and how much. And so the person that you want who's negotiating, you want someone who understands the issues of your community.
Absolutely.
So how it affects peace, or how conflict arises, is when you don't have representatives who put the community issues as priorities on the table. So it can even be a leader who is stealing from their own people. So if there's a lot of corruption, the place where politicians steal is CDF, which is education.
Of course.
So if someone is stealing bursaries, that means you're not going to school. If you're not going to school, that means the chances of the kind of jobs that you get decline. So if you're not working, you're unemployed, that means the choices that you have is either stealing, or you will look for informal ways of making money, or you might be those lucky ones who create their own business. But again, because of bad governance, that environment doesn't exist.
Absolutely.
It doesn't. So it brings conflict, because now people start to steal from one another, they start being used by politicians, or they start just living a life where it's just downhill from there. So that's how politics and peace are related. So if you're in a stable country that is doing well, it'll be very hard for a politician to come and tell you these people are not our people, go and cause chaos. It'll be difficult. It'll be very difficult for you to leave work to go and do that, because you have work, you have your basic needs. There's nothing you need. Even if they give you a few hundred shillings, you already make enough money for yourself. So it removes that opportunity for violence. And you'll notice that countries that are in conflict, a lot of times it's because of unstable governments. So if the government is not stable, at the end of the day, it is very easy to lead toward chaos and conflict.
Right. Wow, that is so elaborate. So elaborate. And it made me just realize how, I think in the African countries, in the African continent, which country would you say is more stable, like politically, that is probably doing better in the stability in all round, yeah?
Politically, I admire South Africa.
You do?
Yes,
Okay.
because I feel there are parts within their constitution we can learn from, and there are also sections that they learn from us. But I love how passionate they are, even within the parliament, the kind of debates that they have. And even the rise of EFF shows you its young leadership, and also young leaders are worried about the economy. So looking at people who are normally low level.
True.
And I think the farthest we've had those kind of conversations in Kenya is the Division of Revenue Allocation Bill, where different counties who have been receiving very little resources are fighting to receive more. But you saw how that was really fought in Parliament. So that's why I admire South Africa. I think that they are very raw and honest in their debates, and I love it. In Kenya, I feel like we get close, but not quite. In Kenya, our leaders can negate something in Parliament, then outside you see them doing something else.
Exactly.
In another press conference,
But what exactly do you love about Kenya in terms of how, in politics, and also how our leaders takes into account the fact that, you know, we have challenges as a country, but we're working towards making it right.
I love that our country has public participation.
Oh yes, and the freedom of expression. And
Yes. If we followed it the way it's supposed to be followed, you would really feel a connection to our country. Because there's an initiative that we did in Kericho County with Siasa Police, where, you know, the youth were feeling there's not enough resources that goes toward youth programs. And that's because there was 0 shillings going toward youth. But because the youth organized and they sat in a public participation meeting and requested for allocation of resources, they received 30 million shillings. So you can see the turnaround. Yeah. So they were able to now implement youth programs in the county. So I love that we actually have the opportunity to come and say, I don't agree with this, so let's just stop it all together, or I think more money should go toward this. That's a powerful platform that we have in Kenya.
I love the fact that you're giving a lot of your personal opinions and also contributions towards what is happening in Kenya, and also you can also cite some case studies like in South Africa. For you as an individual, do you love what you do?
I love it. I love what I do, so I don't feel like I'm working.
Oh, that's it. That's really something. Yeah. The moment you feel like it's work, then there's something wrong, right? Yeah. I love that. And growing up, were you always that girl who what thing would you say was unique about you that you probably said that one day I'll be so and so like the person you've become today? Were you able to tell that from?
No, I think growing up in primary I was very shy. So I know even my friends in primary are just like, who's this chick? But when did she change? I was smart.
I could tell.
I was smart. And I wasn't a bully, but I was bullied. And in high school, I was also bullied quite a lot. Sometimes even by people younger than me. But I think for me, what was always interesting, and my mom always jokes with me, is whenever I would be given homework, even holiday homework, by the way, I would come home and start on it immediately.
Before you do anything?
Yeah. if I've not done that homework at home immediately, I've done it on the way home. So in traffic, I'm over there doing my homework because I just feel there's work I have to do and it's not complete and I need to complete
makes you
it.
Not really okay.
Yeah, so I would say that. But in university, like I told you, I went to school abroad. I was president of the international students. Yes, and I think that was something that really challenged me.
Oh, okay.
It challenged me.
But with a lot of challenges comes, you know, you come to identify recognize some things within you yourself.
Exactly.
How did you even get there?
Exactly. I started to realize I actually have a strength, you know.
Yes. People can tell that I have something that many people don't. It's really something.
So that's where it really changed for me.
Yeah.
When I became president, I was forced to get out of this shy cocoon because now I have to address students, and I'm talking about hundreds of them.
Yeah.
And interestingly, on campus there were very few Africans, but I was friends with Asians. Right. So it's the Asians who voted me in, the Japanese, the Indian.
Right.
So it made me realize that I'm good with people and I also enjoy seeing people happy, and so how to lead people toward that was a gift for me.
Awesome.
So, yeah.
Awesome. I know we'll have a lot of conversation, especially people just wanting to learn more about you. Maybe as we wind up, I just wanted to maybe ask on behalf of everyone that what is that one thing you'd wish to tell a young woman out there, a young man out there who is, you know, they're passionate about something, they're passionate about building their community in one way or the other, but they really don't know where to start, or if they know where, or if they've started already, then they're going through, they're facing a lot of challenges, and it's really kind of just taking them down. What would you tell them? And lastly, what is your commitment towards building peace in Kenya as you approach elections? Like, what will be your commitment towards that?
It's a good one.
Yeah.
So what I'll tell, especially young people who are just starting out, I know we hear this a lot. Believing in yourself is important, but you have to be so organized, organized and consistency. Because what I see is that youth can say, I'm really passionate about this, and then they hit some bumps on the road and they give
knocks
up.
them down and they
it's like, that's why I said give yourself 3 years. 3 years of that consistency, that follow-up, grabbing opportunities, because I had to push myself into spaces of governance, to learn from other people who are there, to discover the niche, the gap that I'm trying to fill. And so being willing to learn even more and not being shy of not knowing what's happening.
Absolutely. And, and as a young person, I just wanted to say, because with all this tells me how young people, we think sometimes we know it all, that if an opportunity comes, you're quick to say yes than no, like no, so that you don't, you know, it's something that you probably not in your area of work, and that will probably throw you off balance, and you're afraid of saying no. So I was just
because it's sacrifice.
Yeah, it is.
And at some point it gets painful, and we don't talk about the pain enough. There's pain where you even lose friends because guys are like, you're always doing that.
You're always busy. I get to tell that a lot.
You're going to lose people. Because they don't see the vision, and it's fine. It's very fine. You are meant to grow apart anyway. And also the aspect of you don't always know. Sometimes you don't know. Sometimes the way things fall into place, just be flexible with whatever happens.
Look for move on, and you know, keep on updating yourself. Keep on doing more. You'll get it finally. Oh yeah.
So you will find your niche. That's what I'll say. And what we are doing in terms of peace, we're going to be doing a lot of voter education. Starting next month. I also sit on several committees where I'm pushing toward bringing the youth together. I mean, we can't work in silos. So there's the youth serving organizations, there's the youth coordinating committee, there's the youth sounding board. So just try to bring those groups
and everything youth together. That is everything youth. I love
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, awesome. This was one of my favorite interviews I've done so far this year. So I think it gives a lot of insight, guys. This is a lot. This is a lot that if you could just take your time and listen into what we've shared here today, it's a lot, and it would probably start you off somewhere or give you the motivation to, you know, keep on. I really appreciate you, Nerima, coming
Thanks for
through
having
for
me,
me. Thank you
Grace.
so much. And I'm looking forward to more of such, and keep on doing what you do. And we love you so much.
Oh, thanks.
Thank you. Thank you. So guys, thank you so much. Keep on sharing, keep on subscribing. Do you want to tell them to subscribe and share and watch?
Subscribe, share. This is something that will benefit you.
Exactly.
And follow Grace.
Oh yeah, thank you so much, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Oh, that is so nice.